Hello, Sarah Sabin, Executive Leadership and Intuition Coach here. And in today's video, I am going to be talking about a concept called the self-transforming mind. Now, unfortunately, this concept, which is something that helps us learn and grow through challenges, is being seen less and less out there today as people become more adverse to being challenged or hearing points of view that run contrary to their own belief system. However, if you can factor this self-transforming mind into your work life and indeed your personal life, it will make a huge difference to the amount that you can learn, grow, and evolve. So, this is a concept that was coined by Harvard University. And it's basically the ability to make space for new ideas within an existing framework and to accept that ideas and situations evolve. So, this allows you to basically meet and welcome challenges, challenging situations, challenging people, and actually learn from them rather than running away at the first signs of an emotional trigger. So I actually talk about being emotionally triggered and how if you let it, it can impact your learning and growth in another video. So feel free to go off and watch that one as well because it goes hand in hand with this. So the self-transforming mind thinks in terms of how does this new learning fit into my current thinking? So basically, you have your own way of thinking, your own framework, your own belief system. And for everything that comes along that is perhaps new, different, opposite, it still has something to teach you if you let it. And by asking that question, you are seeing if the things that you are being presented with have merit and can fit into your own framework and slash or belief system to make that actually stronger and more evolved. So, some key steps here to work on developing this self-transforming mind. Number one, you have to suspend your own views for a period of time, not forever. You can think of putting them down for a second and stepping into the shoes of another person and taking on their views and considering how they got there. So, how did they get to those views that they have, those opinions, those belief systems? You're essentially trying on their thinking for size. So, it's a form of cognitive empathy, if you like. Fun note. I've also done a video on that on the three types of empathy, so feel free to watch that video as well. So you're trying that on for size. And actually, if you want to physically get into that, you can have two chairs. One is your point of view, and the other chair is the other person's point of view. If you're doing this by yourself and you're processing some new information that's come through, so that you can actually physically switch between the viewpoints. But otherwise, if you're talking to someone or you don't want to do that, that's fine, but it can help you physically separate. So the second step after you've tried on the other person's thinking for size is to go back to your own perspective with that new information and that new flexibility. So you're considering how what you've heard fits into your current operating system. This approach basically stops us. It might not stop us getting triggered, so we might still get triggered, but if we can get past that and recognize it for what it is, an emotional trigger causing some resistance, and say, okay, cool, that's because it runs contrary to my belief system, but I'm not going to let that hold me back. Or even better, if you don't get triggered at all, brilliant. So it stops those triggers affecting us. Um, And it stops us feeling so anti people that don't share our own values and belief systems. Because one of the common causes of frustration between people at work that I see is that the person getting frustrated doesn't understand that the other person does not come from the same value system, belief system as them, but somehow they expect them to. When you understand that that other person comes from their own set of values and beliefs, and you actually take the time to get to know what those are, you actually start to feel less frustrated anyway, because you just realize, okay, well, obviously that person sees differently because they are different from me. So you've taken the time to walk in the other person's shoes, learn from them, and if you find that some of what they said has merit, you can fit that into your own framework to make it stronger. And if you decide that you're still very grounded and rooted in your own belief system, that's fine. But you've stopped yourself getting triggered by something that's challenging you, which is a win all on its own.